It's a beautiful Tuesday, and on Tuesday it's Man Cave, and today hot topic tunataka kuruka ndani kabisa, right into the topic. It's something that I'm sure most of us have gone through, unless maybe you are we are the chosen few, unless you're the chosen few. But if not, you've definitely gone through a breakup. Now the problem and the question is, how do you move on? Do you move on with the fire upon the blaze, like we're talking about love action, or how do you do it? Of course, to help us unpack this, our able panelists in the building, DJ Random.
It's actually not DJ, it's just Convoke.
Yeah, that's what I said. Sheila Convoke is here to help us.
I'm glad to be here.
Give us that wonderful female perspective. Pastor Kodia.
Jina kubwa hiyo.
Rangi ya pesa.
Rangi ya pesa.
Roy my PhD even me as giving myself. Roy my PhD ndi huyu.
My coach is also with us, Pastor Kodia, and Roy Karo. He's there. He's in the
Hey Willis, it's good to have you back, man.
It's good to have you back.
No, I mean Joey was dope, but like it's good to have you back.
There are guys who are called disappearing acts.
This guy
Joey is screaming in the background saying, "Hey, Dad!"
No.
We love you, Joey.
Yeah. We love you better, Joey. I can say it proudly.
Anyway, it's so good. Joey tunakupenda Fini County. Alright, so right, let's jump right into it. Remember, you can talk to us using the hashtag for breakfast. The first line is 3242. We'll be sampling some of your comments in a short while. First of all, is there anything, let's start there, is there anything like a clean breakup?
A clean breakup?
Yeah, clean breakup.
But if you're two very boring people, you'll have a very nice breakup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you just had each other like like the Pope visiting someone.
Okay.
Then alafu kila mtu aende zake. But if you're two people with character, it's very hard to see how it can amicably end, realistically.
Yes.
Two people who are full of passion and character. Let's just say ukona yo passion, you're a demonstrator. Yeah, you're very passionate. There tends to be, of course, some sort of a clash. Peaceful breakups happen when you have extremely mature people, which is extremely impossible.
Yeah.
In this country, it ain't happening.
So kunanga maturity.
Maturity can't be like maturity is like, you know, the way Kinashila make it sound like it's old fashioned. Maturity.
So you're saying I can't just come and say, you know what, Sheila, I know meant to majaribu, it's not working.
Yeah.
So go separate ways. It can happen like that.
No, I think there can be a very good breakup, but you see, a good breakup comes from people who valued the relationship they had.
Okay.
If you had a genuine relationship, then the breakup should be genuine. It should not be violent, honestly. Yes, you're losing something great, something you valued, but if the relationship was genuine and it was valuable to you, then you celebrate a valuable thing. It's like when you used to win something, then now all of a sudden you're no longer winning trophies.
I'm going to disagree.
You don't tukana the tournament you're in. Or if you used to have a great job and you really valued that job, you don't abuse the people where you used to work.
When you're Arsenal.
There is something Lord have spoken about maturity, because many people have separated themselves, but they are still in the same roof. They are not together. There is no that togetherness. They are broken. So there is difference of breaking and staying together, and also divorcing.
So there is separation.
There is separation, yeah. Right. Divorcing, I think, is a bankruptcy of marriage. Because you are not putting anything to my daily life. You only want to get from me until you make me bankrupt. But we are still in the same roof because we have children together. We have other maybe shambas we have bought together. We have other businesses we have together. So may I say that we need a lot of maturity when we come to the issue of separation.
You said you don't disagree with Roy.
Hell yeah. Because let's be real, people don't break up because it's sunny out there and everything is perfect and you're like, you know what, let's live on a good high. No, it usually happens. One has cheated, things are going south, everything is so I know that the maturity helps to make a relationship at the end of a relationship amicable, especially if you ended on a good note, which is 1%. 99% of the time, even when you're seeing that there's no passion, there's no love, like you're almost holding on to the person because you're like, what if they go and get someone better? then that means I wasn't good enough. So you continue trying to force yourself to make the relationship work instead of actually letting it go.
So
And that's where
wait, she's asking. There's no good breakup.
I'm saying 99% of the time. 1% it can be good,
Okay,
but 99% of the time.
I just want to say
Hold on. What Pasia said is that even when you're in a relation, you've broken up. You know, sometimes the relationship ended 3 years ago, but bado mshikiliana hapo yani kifo. You're holding on to a skeleton. You understand? The relationship was dead. That process of holding on to something that is dead is a breakup. 3 years of breaking up. You're fighting. You're causing.
This one I have to. Willis, let's get something very clear here.
All right.
You asked about whether people amicably. There's something such as a good breakup. I think there should be, and there's every reason to be, because of one reason. And she just talked about the fact that you broke up because something went wrong. A problem doesn't justify how you behave. How you behave is a matter of what kind of character you have. The reality is, the way we break up does not mean there was no problem. Right? Does not mean there was no problem. It's how maturity is about how you handle a problem. It's not what maturity is about, Pastor. It's about how you handle a problem. So just because we had a good run and I did something extremely wrong does not justify you doing 3 somersaults and behaving like a wild cat. It doesn't. Because that is you disrespecting yourself.
That's true.
So it's nothing to do with what I did. Yeah, if a dog barks, you bark back usually. I don't know about you. When dogs bark, you bark back.
Try to do just to,
Yeah, you bark according to your character. So there should be a maturity. There should be a mature breakup because it's handling the problem as an adult. Simple.
I want these guys who are living together to understand one thing. That there is nobody who is perfect.
Yeah.
In any way. We are all looking for perfection. And we need a lot of patience. For me to perfect my wife, for her to perfect me. We need a lot of patience. We need a lot of maturity. If there is no patience, there is no maturity. And you think that I'm an angel, I'm going to work miracles in everything. That one cannot work. And that's why Shida is saying it's only maybe 1% who are perfect in their relationship.
No.
Others.
That's not what she said.
Hold on. I feel like I'm being misquoted.
Yeah.
It's very important to note that when we're talking about a breakup that is not amicable, doesn't necessarily mean it's fighting or lacking of maturity. The fact, and I've just even given an example. For me, I don't think breakups happen when you just say, okay, now it's over, bye. There's various forms of breakup. There are those ones who will end violently, and thus people have to intervene and say, wachaneni. There are those ones who will be like, the relationship is dead. One person is going out and has started another relationship, but they're waiting for you to break up with them, and which is 99% of the relationships. People are out here holding on to each other, and you know that this isn't the relationship that you're supposed to be in. So 3 years of the end of the relationship was actually part of the breakup. Yeah, you slowly start to detach with the person. That is part of maturity. You're thinking you don't want to hurt the person, because who wants to hear that I'm leaving? Whoever wants to hear that? So you think about the other person, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to continue being in this relationship until they choke.
Let's step back to why these things are occurring, where this discussion is coming from.
Exactly.
Let's step back.
Had a lot of
violent breakups, where you're having someone physically hurting someone, physically burning a house, or coming to trauma your clothes or whatever it is, of actually even killing someone.
Right.
This is where we're coming from, and I'm saying for us guys to accept that it is natural for a relationship to break up in with a sense of animosity is wrong. It should not be. The majority should be clean. Where the majority, they should be. I'm not saying they are.
But are they?
You see, that's the point. I'm saying they should be.
They should be, but they're
what about reality?
No, we're saying reality, but we're saying is what begs us to defy is to say that reality is going against what the grain should be, right? Because where we've reached a point where we have people destroying things and breaking up and violence. I want to understand this relationship, that you had someone you loved and you reached a point where they deserve to die, or you deserve to burn their clothes. There is no such situation. I'm trying to understand it.
Right. Passion is something very
exactly. You know, but don't excuse it. It's still a crime.
We're not excusing it. But Willis asked a question. He said, why ABCDE? And we're saying, according to Roy, it's people lack maturity, and when you have maturity, you have some level of amicability. But let's be realistic.
What causes it?
How many people do you know who've broken up amicably?
That's why I'm asking you. Why? What is the reason? What is the reason that justifies animosity? That is what
someone has played you. Right. Usually, someone who played with you.
People are getting into relationships.
Don't justify it
without maturity.
Don't support it.
Many people are getting into relationships without
For the wrong reasons.
for the wrong reasons. Let me use that word.
It's for the wrong reasons.
And they don't want to grow. Yeah, they want to find a relationship which is already grown up. They don't want to grow together with a relationship. Yeah, that's why I have a wife in the house, but I have a chick in the office.
And those are the things that you know. Can I just say something?
Coming back to the Bible is having Rhea and Rachel.
Oh my God!
Right.
Rhea is for giving birth. Rachel is for going for
Right,
paternity.
hold on. Before you say anything else, there's a lot of some very private, personal, and SMS that has come, and I want us to just put it in context. But first, let's listen to what we went out and asked people about what their views are about breaking up and what you should do when you break up. And remember, still you can talk to us. The SMS line is 22422 and the hashtag is for breakfast. But let's listen to what people have to say. Now there are different stories here and I want you to pay attention to, especially the first lady. Let's take a listen.
Have you ever been in a relationship before?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever been into a breakup before?
Of course,
How
I've
was
been.
it?
It was terrible, but I had to talk to myself and just let go and move on. Because it was not easy breaking up. It was a 10 years relationship. Yeah.
Okay, so during that breakup, how did you feel about it? What did you do to move on?
Okay, I just had to talk to myself, knowing what I wanted and what exactly I was being given is not what I wanted. So that's what helped me to let it go.
Have you ever been in a relationship before?
Yeah, I've been in one.
Yeah. So what about breakup? Should I go into a breakup?
Yeah, a long time ago, like 2011 there.
2011. How was it?
It was really tough by the time to break up, and then it's hectic part because mtu umia sana by the ukiachwa na mtu mwenye unapenda kabisa, you know.
Yeah, sure. So let's say I understand during that relationship, either you or her, alikuwa amebaia ule mwingine present.
Yeah.
Did she return the things that you had bought for her?
No, actually she didn't.
She didn't.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you return the things that she had bought for you?
Hapana. Kurudisha.
Hukurudisha.
Instead some of them nilichoma, zingine nikaeka tu niwe na yeah.
So,
there's no need of kuzika memory because nilimwona tukiziona huwa zinakukumbusha mambo mob. And at times ni stressing or else unakuwa una feel uko fiti kabisa.
have you ever been into a relationship before?
Yes, I am in a relationship.
You are?
Actually, yes.
So have you ever been into a breakup? Have you ever experienced a breakup situation?
Yes.
So how was it? How did you go about it?
Let's just say during those times they were puppy love, but I believe that when you go through a breakup, if it's someone that you were planning to take time with or spend time with in future, you will come together and sort it out. But if it wasn't meant to be, then you just have to move on, just find closure and yeah.
Do you ever quarrel at any one point?
Oh yes, some ups and downs. Yeah.
So how do you solve your disagreements between you two?
So I take her out, we go somewhere place, and then we talk things out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you happen to break up with him, would you return the things he had bought for you?
No.
What about you? Will you return the things he had bought for you?
I'm married.
You're
I'm married, yeah.
For how long?
13 years now.
13 years.
Yeah.
So have you ever been into a breakup experience?
No.
You've never.
I've never.
So what's your opinion about breakup?
Breakup, I think, is something like misunderstanding each other. If you come and understand the other partner, and the other partner understands you well, I don't think there's a need of breaking up.
All right, so those are different views from people, and I'm going to add that with some comments that have come here, even as a comment on what's been said. Two that stand out for me, which are actual problems that people are going through and they're texting me. Somebody says, my wife complicates divorce, yet she has moved on with another man. What's the problem with her? That's one. Then somebody says something very serious, which I think is very touching. She says, my girlfriend has diabetes. Is this enough reason for me to break up? She's good at everything, housework, etc. But diabetes is the thing that's killing me softly. Should I break up with her? I'm confused.
Okay. Now that one of discussing what someone should do, whether she should break up or not, we will not discuss that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what
sure
for us
about,
to, we're not in a forum to actually decide whether you should have a relationship or not. Yeah. But I think what is coming out of those relationships, as one lady talked about, it depends on the kind of relationship you had. And that's why I said, if you break up violently, it says a lot about the kind of relationship you
had before.
Yes, it says a lot about that, because how you handle a problem should be defined by also the value of what you had. It's, you know, nurturing a shamba. You're saying it's nurturing. You've nurtured something for 15, 20 years. And then some
lady have been there for 10 years.
Yeah, 20, so maybe I can say sorry to her.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if you've nurtured something for 15, 20 years, and then on one day something goes wrong with it, you don't turn around, and Kenyans love this, and make, just because we like Nyama Choma doesn't mean we need to choma everything. We start now chomaing everything in the relationship. You should handle it in a way that also gives value to what you had over those 15 years. But then you're burning things down in 2 minutes, means those 15 years mean absolutely nothing.
In the moment of heart.
Yeah.
Like,
that is why we're starting. Yes.
And then now you umefanya kitu cha
That's why I'm saying ni wazimu kuchoma vitu. See, it's logical. Don't make it sound like a logical action.
Okay. Roy,
it's a reaction.
Roy, we hear
it's a reaction.
Yeah, it should be a reaction. Don't. If you tell me he came and burned things out of that, but if you tell me he went and premeditated, thought about it, planned for a week. I know a chick who went and took a guy's shirt and ironed them with glue, super glue. I mean, the amount of work. Your hatred cannot become your job.
But
Roy,
let me ask you. You know, I mean, I like what you're saying, which is the ideal situation. But what you're not realizing, what we're not discussing, is what causes people to go crazy. You know, like, for example,
what are we discussing?
Hold on. You know, you're looking at it from most of the time. Most of the people who go crazy are the women. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Most of the time you see someone going crazy in a relationship is because and you know, there's nothing like the wrath of a woman scorned, you know. And usually hell hath no fury, because think about it. This lady has invested her life. Usually those are the stories you hear. You've invested your life, and when a woman loves, she loves. So she's in there. She's in the future. She's actually literally planning even like 50 years and then you find this man, they've been 40 years, 30 years in a relationship, in a marriage. He has a dogo 21-year-old. How do you think that lady is going to feel? Hold on.
I know you should feel bad.
Men, because you know, it's not just you know, it's not only women who go crazy. How many times have you heard of a policeman in a love triangle?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we should be addressing is the fact that, because it's a moment of madness, the fact that a lot of people are just walking around with massive anxiety, which is being created. Like this guy who's in this situation and asking, this lady has diabetes, I mean, she does everything well. You think this guy, when he walks out or whenever they break up, it's going to be amicable? This has been something that's eating into him.
She's gone too far. Let me just say something here. Let's get something very clear.
Oh, my point was mental health. We have a lot of mental health issues that we are not addressing.
I'm going to make this point and give birth for people to speak for a while.
Give birth. Like
anything. Yeah. Let me explain something. It's very clear. Let's get something clear here. As we sit here and try and understand why people misbehave or have points of passion, those exist. Let's not have any empathy for that reaction.
Right.
Because by having empathy for it, you're building an understanding of why it occurs and you're encouraging it. You're justifying it. So I am saying it is unjustifiable. Let's agree on this table.
Yes.
It should be wrong to do it. So don't say, how do you think that makes me feel? How do you think I feel? Hey, baby, I imagine I'm just a human like any other person. No, we're not going to sympathize with you. We're not going to empathize with you. We're going to say it is absolutely wrong. There's no reason for it.
I think we have a problem here. Every time you try to understand your spouse, you make a big mistake.
Yes.
Because the way we are created by God, nobody should understand one another. And that's why he has told men, your work is to love. And ladies, your work is to submit, not to understand.
Not to understand.
Now many people are trying to understand one another. That's why they are ending up being married.
Exactly.
Because when you fail to achieve a goal, you feel inferior.
No.
My work is to love. My work is to love. My work is to love my wife. The work of my wife is not to love me, is to submit to me.
Okay, that one
let's take some 2242 again. We need to make a distinction. Somebody says, and I think Pastor mentioned it, about if you break up in a marriage, or if you say a boyfriend and girlfriend, and Sheila mentioned it, this person says in a marriage, anger and frustrations are much greater,
yes,
and the control of your emotions is much harder because the investment was great. Somebody asked, I think it's a lady, because what about breakup where a guy goes silent on you? Is that mature? Because this guy is like 27 plus years. Kate from Kitui says she was in a relationship for 10 years, believing in it to work, and then she came to realize that she was alone and had to keep quiet until she was completely over it. Meanwhile, she had to start another. And then she said, actually, it helped because it didn't help because I didn't feel the new one much. And another interesting one here, somebody says, yo, Power Breakfast, I'm in a very hurting marriage. My wife got rumors that I was seeing some side chick. She believed it. We talked, but she doesn't want to hear anything like we are together again. Then, actually, this is all she said. Yesterday, I got information that she is seeing someone. We have one kid of 3 years. Yeah, and then somebody says, getting rid of what you're given by your ex is not bad. It's just a way of avoiding so many memorable moments. So there are a lot of situations. You can tell that this is actually something.
It's very sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive.
There are things which cannot work in our culture, because culture also is another problem. Separation, when you go to Jungus, to them is different, because they don't have a culture they are following. As we have a culture
of fighting,
call it if it is part of it. But you see, our culture leaves us with a lot of pain when you are being left, and you see the person who left you is having another person. You end up either killing that person, killing her, or killing yourself. It's lack of maturity. I have to go back there.
Willis, today I'm going to. It's actually interesting. I was reading my Bible yesterday, and I want to use a verse or a chapter. I want to encourage everybody to go read, because Pastor has talked about culture, and I want to tell you that breakup is not an easy thing.
It's not.
So whatever Roy is saying is true. You shouldn't react in a way that just shows your immaturity. But we must not downplay the fact that closure, which has been mentioned, closure is important, especially for people who are. Why do you think you have emotions that you want to kill that other person? Closure. So even as much as we're respecting that the reactionary must be amicable, you must agree that the person is. It's like a physics. It's like a bomb. You want to cover it. You want to cover it and think that person, it's going to eat them up. So they have to let it out. Judges 19. Pastor, you're very familiar with that chapter. The Levites had a concubine, and she left him. She went to stay with her father. And how did the guy react? He went to pick her from the father, and the father was like, okay, fine, come back. And when he went to Gibeah, when the men came to dish him, what did he decide to do? Vengeance. He gave his concubine, right? And then he went and took her body and cut it into 12 pieces.
Okay.
Judges 19.
Yes.
What does that tell you? You think that guy was dealing with, he was just happy and the girl, no! Vengeance. So we must address the fact that first, when it comes to an end of a relationship, closure is so important. Exactly. And then number two, you must, if you're planning to break up with someone, you must have a level of compassion, which is lacking. Where someone just decides to go, for you've decided you want to be out of that relationship. So you have gone and gotten a dogo or a side chick or whatever you want to call her. But you have no respect for the person who you have gone and told, let's be one. Yeah? Now you've gone and made another situation. Surely, how do you think that person is going to react? So you must have some level of compassion.
And that's why we're agreeing that closure is an issue. So what we're saying is, let's turn against those relationships where we're justifying because you know a lot of what happens with Willis, and this is a habit of our culture. One thing, good point is raised, is that we actually, when we take our relationships more seriously than Muzungus. Let's be realistic.
Yes. Right.
So as guys, when we're together, our thick and thin is proper thick and thin. When I tell you through richness and poor, I'll really show you rich and poor. Sio mchezo, takuonesha both. Right? So we take our relationships more seriously. So we tend to be more passionate. But as Sheila has rightfully said, closure is very important.
It is.
And what we're saying with closure is that let us not justify in any way or feel empathy for people who close violently. Let's stand against it as a crime, right? And not say, let's first find out what did the guy do to the chick, what did the chick do to the guy. Let's stop doing that. Let's say the chick is under no condition should you go to his house and burn something. It does not matter what he did.
It doesn't help.
Because that changes it from you being the victim to you being unakuwa umbwa koko.
Right.
Unakuwa umbwa koko.
I think right, we're in the same page now. When we separate, don't follow our separation with the sarcastic things.
What has happened to you in the past?
Because once you start doing things sarcastically, you are opening the wound, which is healing, and that's when now the madness will come. I'll start do things in a crazy way, because whatever you are doing to me is not to heal me, but is only to keep on opening the wounds. So stop that. If we separate, even if it is possible, we are separating in Nairobi. Go to Kisumu.
We talking about returning. We never sorted it out.
Willie, can you just finish? You don't.
Yeah, our time is up. But just to give you a picture, like somebody that is going through something like you said, that is not always supposed to be bad. There's a lady who has written in and said, I was in a violent marriage for 6 years plus. However, I agreed and we ended it amicably. I got into another one after a year, and the guy turned out to be a cheat, leaving me with another kid, but still, we ended it amicably. I support Roy's points of view. When ending a relationship, consider both the good and the wrong deeds. If you end it amicably, the healing process becomes a lot
It's much easier.
True. And also,
and that's why we're not about returning things.
Yeah. And you remember the point of this story? Yes, the point of this story was we've seen, especially with police, reacting violently, killing themselves, killing their girlfriends or spouses. And my main and only point, if you never had anything I said today, that there's a huge gap in mental health issues in Kenya. In fact, it's not even about even the breakup, even just violence in relationships, even just things that people, if you get into relationships, there's a lot of people suffering from mental health issues, and this is actually madness. It's just things like anxiety, things like stress from work, and then you come home and find someone has cheated on you. So we must be very compassionate with the people that we're with, because mental health issues creep up.
I think she's right in the sense that for us guys, we're new with this. We don't believe that there's something called a psychiatrist or a psychologist. We believe the psychologist is a beer. So we have a completely different idea of what a psychologist is. Like, this beer will make me think about what I'm going through. Anyway, the reality is, as we never reached the point where we talked about returning things, which I felt was very important, because as Sheila said, the most important thing is closure. How you keep those things and whether you burn them and whatever it is determines what kind of closure you get. And I've said, if you deal with closure in a very hard, crude way, believe me, the effects on it on you will also be hard and crude. So if you deal with it in a very mature way, also you're actually treating yourself better, because even you will heal in a softer way. So as you're burning his clothes, or as you're burning his house, or burning whatever it is,
it's not just babes burning.
But it's not to make fire better. But like most kids don't like it. Well, as you burn these things, you will also burn just as hard. So treat it softly. It's the same way you will also treat yourself softly. That's all I'm saying.
I think we cannot stop our separation, but let's approach it with a lot of maturity. Let's approach it with a lot of I'm looking for the best word to use here, because when you approach it without considering the other person saved after separation, you are going to hurt a lot of people. So let's approach it with a lot of maturity and the soberness.
Alright, so again, at the end of the day, like Roy said, we can't really advise you whether to break up or not, but we hope that the things we've said will help you kind of find your north. Game of Thrones understanding. So we say thank you so much for watching. Remember, in the relationship, ni nyinyi wawili ndio mliamua muingie,
kutaka kuichoma
na pia mnaweza amua kutoka mtaka, but remember, let's do it with maturity, and after you've exhausted all other avenues excluding violence. Alright, have yourself a wonderful day. My name is Willis Saburu. Successful people look like all our Kenyan athletes. I've changed now.
Talking now.
And the great people here. Have a wonderful day. Lillian Muli is up next with Citizen Extra. The hashtag is Citizen Extra. Don't go too far.